Is there a possibility for Quinn Ewers making his return to Ohio State? I'm going to talk about why we're talking about this right now as opposed to later. No, Texas and Ohio State in the middle of a push in the college football playoff, but this is a hot topic, and it's one that I think we can spend Christmas talking about. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, please subscribe to the channel. Give me the Christmas gift of helping us get to 124,000 subscribers. The community is growing. The community is robust. We do a lot of arguing, talking in the comments about college football. We do that 24/7, 365 days a year. And we take it into the outer reaches as well as keeping it topical. And I've actually thought about this segment for some time. And I think I wanted to do it because I finally had an angle that I thought was not necessarily one that a lot of people are talking about when it comes to Quinn Ewers returning to Ohio State. And it's got a lot to do with how he got there. Off the rip, this is my quick trip, ugly sweater. It's seasons meetings. There was not long ago, I think I was Quick Trip's favorite college football YouTuber. Now they have since defected to Josh Pate, which is okay. That's all right. I love Josh. Josh is one of the greats in our business. We actually come up together, and there's a story for that later, but it also centers around college football nerds, and I love those guys to the heart. Daniel, Josh, two of the best. They just got, real jobs, and they do this one for fun. Meanwhile, Josh and I, we talk about this stuff all the time, and we absolutely love it. That said, I absolutely love talking about hypotheticals, right? So there's a hypothetical in place that Quinn Ewers could leave Texas after this season and not enter the NFL draft, but go back to Ohio State. You'll remember that he reclassified as a high school senior to get to Ohio State a year in advance of when he was supposed to, 2022, having been committed there after being great at South Lake Carroll, leading them to a state title appearance against Cade Klubnik and Austin Westlake. Austin Westlake and Cade Klubnik beat South Lake Carroll Dragons. Great mascot, by the way. But they couldn't get it done in the college football playoff when Clemson was being led by Cade Klubnik, and Quinn Ewers was able to do what he needed to get them that win and move them on to playing Arizona State in the Fiesta Bowl. Ewers is Texas like you read about. Like, man has a skull ring in the back of his jeans. He keeps it very even keel. He looks good in a cowboy hat, and he's got one of my favorite tweets from 2023, which was, 2022. How am I going to get towed as a starting quarterback? This is at the ULM game, and that's exactly what happened. He parked his truck where he should have parked his truck, and they towed it. Towed the start quarterback's truck, and I love that. It's pretty cool. That he would give us that. Same thing with Arch Manning losing his student ID not once, but twice. I think we might be up to 3 times now. But the reason that he ended up going to Ohio State is because at the time, I was shocked to find out the business economy that is the state of Texas did not allow for high school players to profit from their name, image, and likeness. Now, I can understand how you might want to make that a blanket rule across high school football because we know enough about Texas high school football to know that the only thing more important than your high school football team doing well is your college football team doing well. And if that means that some people got to get some brown envelopes full of cash to get it done, then you're going to go do that because we know what football means in the United States. We know what football means to our economies. I say this often. You don't have to like college football. You don't have to like the NFL, but you do need to understand that it does filter into everything you are doing all the time. The top 80 shows of the top 100 shows annually are NFL football games, and behind them you get some college football games in there as well. You're going to get the largest live audience. You're going to see the impact of a winning football team be seen on your ACT scores for your new incoming class. As a matter of fact, I went to the University of Tulsa, which stock and trade is being smart. It recruits smart kids, right? The average ACT going into this year was 26. At places like Georgia, it's 29. At places like Ohio State, it's 29. At places like Alabama, it's 30. You can point to winning football attracting the most desirable candidates, and you can see a rise in your prospective student applications and the caliber student you're getting, and then you get to raise tuition. They call it the university's front door, but I tend to believe that the most important hire you're going to make at a university that plays college football, especially the Power Four, is the college football coach. Not the president, it's not the athletic director. It's the college football coach. After that, it's who the quarterback is, right? Now, in college football, it's going to get interesting because I think we're entering a place where if you have the money, you will overpay to have not one, not two, but three capable players at the quarterback position. Because we're seeing you're able to keep them, right? It's not become about playing time early. It comes out playing time later, but it also becomes about aging out and aging in, right? So Arch Manning is aging into being the starting quarterback in 2025 at Texas. I expect that to be the case. His skill set is a little bit different than Ewers is, and I think in the kind of scheme that we've seen Sarkisian run, he can just do more within Arch Manning, and he really has to be careful about what he asks Quinn Ewers to do because Quinn Ewers is not the athlete out in the open field that Arch Manning is. That said, I also think it's kind of looking at Carson Beck, who's undergone elbow surgery, who may not have a spot at Georgia. He might, right? But you look at those two quarterback rooms at Quinn Ewers and Arch, well, you're not really sure what you got behind those guys. You know what you got coming in, but you're still not sure, right? I think Raja Bell's kid could be outstanding, could be cool, right? But at a place like Ohio State this year, you had great options. You had Will Howard, you had Julian Sand. I don't know how you feel about Devin Brown now, but it was great a couple years ago. The same thing was true of Aaron Nolan before he decided to enter the transfer portal and transfer to South Carolina. Now they got two capable quarterbacks in Lenore Sellers and a guy that can absolutely spin it down the field. At Georgia, you have a really great example of Kirby Smart just being able to recruit quarterbacks and keep them. Probably longer than he should, given that the more talented guy always seems to be further down the depth chart, right? Justin Fields for Jake Fromm. And then we saw Stetson Bennett come back, and everybody's going, why not JT Daniels? And then we got to see what Stetson Bennett was about. And we're asking, when are we going to see Carson Beck? Then we got to see what Carson Beck is about. And now we're asking, when are we going to get to see Gunnar Stockton? Getting to see Gunnar Stockton in the college football playoff. Seems like the heir apparent 2025, not unlike Arch in 2025. And behind him, we got Ryan Puglisi, who might be the most talented quarterback in that room right now. If you're Ewers, are you staring at a first-round grade? Maybe, maybe not. Even so, we expect Cam Ward, we expect Shedeur Sanders to be a couple of the first guys gone. Maybe somebody goes to get a Carson Beck if he enters the draft. But I think if you can make more money, you'll go do that. And at Ohio State, you could give Ryan Day the guy that I think he needs to measure Tavian St. Clair and Julian Sand against, and a ready-made replacement at that position if it doesn't go according to plan for Julian Sand, or even if Tavian St. Clair could push it that far. I don't think he can, but, we'll see. Some of the true freshmen are really good right away. See Jeremiah Smith. But I think it's also going to be who's got command of that offensive line, who's got command of that wide receiver room, who do they trust? And you'd be bringing in a guy with a lot of experience. Still hasn't played an entire year healthy, which is another reason why you need to keep Julian Sand and or Tavian St. Clair ready to go. But you could have another Will Howard experience. I think Ohio State could take it or leave it on this one, but it's definitely a take for me if you can get him at the right price and if he indeed enters the transfer portal at all. Again, this is all hypothetical, but I wanted to take this moment to just have that conversation and what I think about where we are now, where you can overpay for not one but two starting quarterbacks anywhere else and be in good shape for what the future might hold. So you can actually treat this like an NFL roster. Guy ages up into a number that you're not willing to meet, you cut him or you trade him, right? In college football, you tell him, hey, it's been nice, hit the portal. That's what we're seeing across the board. Everybody is doing just that. And you're trying to make your roster the best you can, stockpiling talent, and then seeing what that talent provides you on offense, on defense, and then using that talent to the best of its ability. I think if you're able to add Quinn Ewers at Ohio State, you do that. But I'm sure that Texas would not turn down its nose at being able to keep Quinn Ewers. I just don't think you're going to be able to play him because it's not just that I think we all want to see Arch play. It's maybe Arch wants to play too.